Chapter 51 Identity. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Su Nange subconsciously took out his mobile phone. She actually didn't want to have trouble with Su Yin in front of Mrs. Su. Even if the clarification on Monday reaches Mrs. Su's ears through other people's mouths, it will be better than such a face-to-face dispute, mainly because she was afraid that Mrs. Su would be too excited and affect her body. But since Mrs. Su made the call, there was no need for her to help Su Yin hide it. But just before the call came in, Su Yin rushed to Mrs. Su and hung up the phone. "Mom, no." Mrs. Su was stunned and looked at her with a frown. "Why not?" Su Yin bit her lip and said, "I just finished talking to Brother Zichen. What he meant was that we should not make this matter a big deal and handle it internally within the company. If Dr. Nan finds out, even if Dr. Nan doesn't tell Nan Gu after all, the whole group must also impose punishment to express its apology to Dr. Nan, and then it will not be easy to deal with him leniently." Mrs. Su paused slightly. "Is that so?" "Yes." Su Yin looked at Su Nange again, with a glint in her eyes. "Nange, the evidence for this matter is complete. You are at odds with Dr. Nan again. It's best to admit your mistake quickly and submit a sincere apology. Send an apology letter to the company. Then I will not hold you accountable. The Hua group will give you a nice word from Mr. Hua and they will definitely give you a lighter sentence." Hearing this, Su Wenzong immediately advised, "Ashu, did you hear that? Nothing major will happen to Su Nange. You just worry too much." Su Nange lowered his eyes. She looked at her phone. Looking back now, the truth can be revealed. Can Mrs. Su accept this result? She is such a gentle person, and the only requirement for her children is that they are healthy and upright, and must not follow evil paths. Can she accept that her daughter is actually a sinister villain? Su Nange was silent for a while, then finally looked at Mrs. Su and decided to get vaccinated first. "Mrs. Su, I am not that stupid. It is a person's normal ability to fail to complete the project. There is no need for me to steal Dr. Nan's plan for the sake of face. Also, think about it carefully. Has Dr. Nan promised you to provide technical support to a group?" As soon as these words came out, Mrs. Su pursed her lips. Su Yin spoke. "I have already explained this matter to my mother. I took my mother's mobile phone to call Dr. Nan privately, and he has agreed." Su Nange still wanted to speak, but Su Wenzong said angrily, "Su Nange, you are really unrepentant. It's in vain that Ashu cares so much about you. Yin has decided not to hold you accountable, and you are still here biting your sister." He pointed to the door. "Get out of here." Su Nange took a deep look at Mrs. Su and saw her frowning slightly, obviously not believing this. She sighed slightly, turned around and left. Her words should make Mrs. Su think more, and they can also be considered as foreshadowing. When the truth comes out on Monday, I hope her mood will not fluctuate too much. She went out and heard movement behind her. When she turned around, she saw Su Yin chasing after her. Su Yin's eyes flickered. "Nange, the whole group actually doesn't want to make the matter a big deal. I suggest you resign voluntarily, so that the whole thing can be over." Su Nange laughed. Su Yin stole her plan and now she must want to settle the matter quickly. She said calmly, "You and I know who stole whose plan, so there is no need to pretend here." Su Yin raised her chin proudly after hearing this. "Of course you stole it from me. There are all the witnesses and physical evidence. There is no way you can deny it." Su Nange saw that she didn't feel guilty at all. "The geese leave their mark. Do you really think you have no flaws?" Su Yin's eyes turned cold. "Are you talking about Dr. Nan? Do you want Dr. Nan to confront you in person?" "Su Nange, you are too naive. This trivial matter will not trouble Dr. Nan at all." The implication is that Dr. Nan doesn't know about this at all, and no one will accuse Dr. Nan. Su Nange will bear the blame. If she wasn't Dr. Nan, I'm afraid she would really be passive. Su Nange raised his lips and said, "Su Yin, if you walk a lot at night, you will inevitably encounter ghosts." With these words, she left directly. The smile on Su Yin's face faded little by little, and in the end, only the fierceness remained. Hua Beiyan was really having a meeting. After the meeting, it was already 8 o'clock in the evening. He walked out of the conference room and caught a glimpse of a sneaky figure standing not far away. It was Jiang Yingxiao. Hearing the sound of the door opening in the conference room, he immediately came over and said, "Cousin, I have something to ask you for help." Hua Beiyan kept walking and walked towards the elevator, say. Jiang Yingxiao looked back and saw the executives attending the meeting. He consciously kept a distance from them. Then he briefly talked about the affairs of the RD department, and finally begged, "The little girl has just graduated. I want you may have made great achievements, but you may have taken the wrong path, but it didn't cause any loss to the company anyway. Do you think I can be dealt with leniently?" Hua Beiyan entered the elevator and pressed the button for the parking lot on the second floor. When Jiang Yingxiao saw that he was silent, he continued, "Cousin, I haven't asked you for anything. Su Nange is indeed a rare talent. I really don't want to see her stop here." Hua Beiyan glanced at him coldly, his deep eyes without any warmth. "Do you think she stole it?" Jiang Yingxiao was slightly stunned. Ding! The elevator has arrived. Hua Beiyan strode out and got directly into the car. Yi peeked at his face through the rearview mirror and asked cautiously, "Boss, do you think Su Nange didn't steal it? But if not, could it be that Dr. Nan stole it from her?" Hua Beiyan opened his eyelids, glanced at him, and said nothing. Yi murmured in a low voice, "You trust her quite a bit." Hua Beiyan leaned on his seat and his eyes deepened. It wasn't that he trusted her, but that she had an arrogance about her that made him sure that she wouldn't steal and there was no need to steal. As for why her solution is the same as Dr. Nan's, maybe it's because Ji Ming. He remembered that Su Nange had a boyfriend, and they were anxious to get married. Is that boyfriend Ji Ming? The car quickly arrived at the hospital. Hua Beiyan strode upstairs and happened to see Su Nange walking towards him. The light in the corridor was very dim, and most of the people around were wearing striped hospital gowns and looking haggard. Only the girl has a fair complexion and a sense of vitality in her lazy walking style, which is like the only scenery in this hospital. Hua Beiyan's expression turned gentle unconsciously. The two met at the door of Mrs. Hua's ward. Hua Beiyan did not enter the room, but said calmly, "Do you need help?" Su Nange paused slightly and replied with a smile, "No need." Hua Beiyan's voice suddenly turned cold. "You don't need my help. Are you looking for Ji Ming?" "That's right, but I overstepped the bounds." Su Nange nodded, "I do need his help. He can better prove my identity." After saying this, Hua Beiyan was stunned. "Your identity?" Chapter 52 Scumbag. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Hua Beiyan narrowed his eyes. What status? The identity of Ji Ming's girlfriend? At this moment, he put the whole thing together in his mind. This woman will not steal the solution, and the solution is too complicated. Jiang Yingxiao said that no one in the entire industry except Dr. Nan can complete it in such a short time. Su Nange's plan should have been given by Ji Ming. But Ji Ming did not inform Dr. Nan, otherwise Dr. Nan would not have sent it to Hua Zichen, which led to this misunderstanding. Things in the mall are very complicated. Why did Ji Ming take Dr. Nan's plan, but Dr. Nan didn't know? Will he really clarify for Su Nange? Hua Beiyan asked worriedly, "Are you sure he will come?" "Certainly. You trust him so much." "Right. When did Ji Ming dare to disobey Su Nange's order?" Her natural look made Hua Beiyan suddenly feel a little depressed. He only felt that the girl in front of him was a love brain. He suddenly said, "Miss Su, don't forget that legally, we are still husband and wife. I don't want any gossip to spread." Su Nange. She looked at the man in slight shock, wondering why he suddenly said this. Hua Beiyan became even more depressed when he saw this. He loosened his tie and said solemnly, "I hope you will stay clean during our marriage." With these words, he strode into the ward. Su Nange. Didn't this man's meeting go well today? Why is it so uncertain, and what he says is simply incomprehensible? Without thinking much, she followed him into the ward to accompany Mrs. Hua. Outside the suite, Hua Beiyan looked at Yi. "Check Ji Ming." "Yes." Yi worked very efficiently. In half an hour, he found all of Ji Ming's information. "Boss, it was sent to your mobile phone." Hua Beiyan opened the file on his phone and saw Ji Ming's basic information. he is 27 years old, a top graduate from Cambridge University. He became Dr. Nan's agent 3 years ago and helps him manage the company. Over the past 3 years, he has worked hard and steadily, and now the company is ready to go public. Hua Beiyan continued to row down, but found that there was no more water. He frowned slightly. That's all. Yi looked confused. He had even found Ji Ming's university transcript. Didn't the boss think it was enough? He asked doubtfully, do you want it? Hua Beiyan said lightly, his personal style. Yi opened his mouth wide and was very surprised, but he quickly came back to his senses. I'll go check it out right now. Half an hour later, Yi's message was sent to Hua Beiyan's phone again. He is generous and changes his girlfriend every 3 months, and his ex-girlfriends are full of praises for him. He is currently having affairs with several women and is not a qualified boyfriend at all. Thinking of Su Nange's trust in him, Hua Beiyan sneered, stood up and walked into the ward with his cell phone, ready to show her the evidence. Unexpectedly, as soon as I entered the door, I saw my grandma reading a dictionary with reading glasses, and the woman was squatting on the ground playing with the dog. The little Shiba Inu raised its head and wagged its tail vigorously at her. The woman was all smiles. She looks amazing, and her smile has a breathtaking beauty, like the purest and cleanest scenery in the world, which makes people not want to destroy it. His steps paused slightly, and his fingers holding the phone tightened. Slightly. Do you want to tell her the cruel truth? Hua Beiyan was a little confused for a moment. What's wrong? Mrs. Hua suddenly spoke and looked at him doubtfully. Hua Beiyan pursed his lips and suddenly turned off the phone screen. Nothing. Mrs. Hua didn't believe it. You stared at my granddaughter-in-law for so long, how could you be okay? Do you have something to say to my grandson-in-law? When Su Nange heard this, he raised his head and looked at him with bright eyes. Hua Beiyan? He felt a hot feeling on his face. He quickly looked away and coughed. Grandma, you look very energetic. Can you be discharged from the hospital? As soon as she finished speaking, Mrs. Hua, who was in high spirits, immediately covered her chest and looked weak. Bad boy, I still feel pain in my heart. How can I let my grandson and grandson's wife live together after being discharged from the hospital? At that time, she will be like a child whose parents are divorced and can only choose one side. Where is it like now? As early as her second day in the hospital, she renovated the ward. There were 2 comfortable beds in the ward, one for her and her granddaughter-in-law, and one in the outer living room for the brat to sleep on. I am a little too young, and life is a little harder, but the 2 of them can see each other every day without looking up. After they develop a relationship, she will take her granddaughter-in-law back to the Hua family. Mrs. Hua laughed happily when she thought of this, but there was no hint of heartache. Hua Beiyan. Su Nange. A night of silence. The next morning, Su Nange was reading the neurology book when he suddenly received a call from Senior Zhang Chao. Sister, come to school quickly. Something happened to Professor Liang. Su Nange frowned and said immediately, okay. She stood up with a solemn expression and strode out. While going downstairs, prepared to take a taxi, Yi's voice came from behind. Miss Su, the boss asked me to see you off. Su Nange paused slightly and said without courtesy, Haicheng University, thank you. As soon as the car stopped at the teaching building, Su Nange jumped out and rushed to Professor Liang's office. Professor Liang's office door was wide open, and there was a circle of students watching the excitement. Su Nange rushed in and saw Professor Liang standing there with a red face, glaring at the Dean of the School of Energy. He said sternly, a student's academic status is a matter of life. Why do you have to expel him at the drop of a hat? Last time you said she has a bad character and a questionable background, so she bypassed me and directly cancelled her graduate school quota. If you don't give me a reasonable reason today, don't even think about walking out of this door. Su Nange was slightly startled when he heard this. She thought something had happened to Professor Liang, but it turned out that Professor Liang was standing up for her. But, expulsion from school. She looked at the dean and saw the dean with a beer belly saying seriously, I just got the news that she stole Dr. Nan's solution and said that she came up with it herself. Such a student will be tainted by nothing. The reputation of our school has been damaged, so of course we must deal with it. Professor Liang said angrily, impossible, classmate Su Nange is not such a person. The dean sneered, this is the inside information I just got. It can't be false. Our school will soon hire Dr. Nan as a tutor. If we don't punish her, how will we get Dr. Nan's approval? Do you know how many schools are robbing people? Professor Liang understood immediately. In the final analysis, you are here for Dr. Nan. But I am her supervisor. If I don't sign, you can't fire her. I will never sign this word today. That the dean was angry. Old Liang, why are you so ignorant of current affairs? Let alone Su Nange, even you, how can you compare with Dr. Nan? Hearing this, Su Nange immediately stepped forward. Without teacher, there would be no Dr. Nan. Chapter 53 Acknowledgment. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Su Nange's words were not false. When she was a freshman, she thought this major was cool and uninteresting. It wasn't until she took a class from Professor Liang that she embarked on this path. It can be said that Professor Liang is her guiding light. Her eloquent words silenced the entire office. Professor Liang and the dean looked at her in unison. The dean frowned and said angrily, "What are you talking about?" Su Nange was about to reveal his identity, but Zhang Chao next to her hurriedly rushed to her. The schoolgirl is right. Without a pioneer like the teacher, where could Dr. Nan come from? He yelled directly, "New energy has only been developed in recent years, but my teacher has been studying this major for more than 20 years. Without the pavement of him and other teachers, how could it be possible to have this grand event today?" Dean, what you just said is really biased. Even if Dr. Nan comes, you still have to call the teacher senior. The dean choked and looked at the students at the door. There are many graduate students of Professor Liang here, and they are all looking at him with indignation at this moment. The dean coughed. It's true what I just said, but Dr. Nan's current position in the industry is unshakable. You should know this. Dr. Nan can lead an entire RD team by himself. New energy has taken a big step forward. So, classmate Su Nange, how could you steal his plan? It's just nonsense. Su Nange said directly, I don't. The dean sneered, the whole group has all the witnesses and material evidence. Even if you don't plead guilty, you can't escape at all. Su Nange, it's just the right time for you to come, lest I inform you again that you have been expelled from the school. I'll make an announcement soon. Otherwise, the school's reputation will be ruined by you. Professor Liang said angrily, Dean, classmate Su Nange has already said that she did not steal, but the matter has not yet been investigated clearly. Your reason for expelling her from the school is not sufficient at all. The dean glanced at him. This matter must not be a big deal, otherwise people who don't know why will think that Dr. Nan can't accommodate a student. The reason for expelling her is of course, violation of discipline. Classmate Su Nange, I have found out that you go to school there were a lot of late arrivals, early departures, skipping classes, etc., and your usual grades were 0 points, so the school made the decision to expel you from school. As soon as these words came out, Su Nange was really stunned. As the saying goes, a university without skipping classes or leaving early is not perfect. Which college student wouldn't skip a few classes? She did skip a lot of classes. The teachers in the professional courses taught her too easily, so she simply didn't attend class, but the teachers found that she had a perfect score in the exam, and if her usual score was 0, it would not affect the overall situation, so they did not pursue it further. I didn't expect that I would become the dean's handle now. Su Nange's eyes turned cold. Professor Liang was also trembling with anger. You are so shameless. I still said that I don't know how to sign this word. Su Nange is my student, and if I, the tutor, don't sign, you can't expel her from the school. The dean's face turned cold. Professor Liang, you are really stubborn. Since you don't cooperate with the school, I can only suspend you. Professor Liang was furious. Suspended, suspended. Do you think I will be afraid of you? As soon as he said these words, the dean smiled. Professor Liang, if you are suspended and there is no one to take care of your graduate students for the time being, what are you going to do with their graduation defense? Let me think about it. You have 6 graduate students, right? Do you plan to delay the graduation of 6 of them? If a graduate student fails to pass the defense, graduation will be postponed for 1 year. many unscrupulous tutors, in order to get their graduate students to do things for them, will deliberately block them, allowing them to continue year after year. In this matter, students are completely a vulnerable group. As soon as he said these words, Professor Liang was stunned for a moment. You are so shameless. The dean actually used his graduate students to force him to sign. People who have been engaged in scientific research all their lives will not know how to curse. At this moment, they can only stamp their feet angrily. The expressions of the graduate students under Professor Liang's name immediately changed, and they all looked at him nervously, but the dean laughed. Professor Liang, which one is more important, 1 student or 6 students? You make your own choice. He took out the expulsion process sheet and handed it to Professor Liang. Will you sign this word? Professor Liang clenched his fists. He looked back at his graduate students. Some of them have already found jobs and are just waiting to get their diplomas before they can join the workforce. There are also people who are engaged and waiting to hold a wedding after graduation. But he couldn't sign. Black is black. White is white. Just when he didn't know how to face his graduate students. Su Nange walked up to him and asked, "Are the school leaders here today?" Professor Liang smiled bitterly and shook his head. There is an exchange meeting in Kyoto, and both the principal and vice principal attended. In other words, there is no one who can punish the dean. Su Nange lowered his eyes and suddenly smiled. "Professor, why don't you go home and rest for a few days? Wait until they come back." Revealing his identity now will only cause the dean to say misunderstanding and the matter will be over. After all, no real harm was done. But if the dean forces the old professor to suspend his duties and attacks his graduate students, and then exposes the matter, the dean will have done it all. When Professor Liang heard this, he sighed deeply. He looked at his graduate students and said slowly, "Don't worry, even if I am suspended, I will wait for the president and vice president to come back and file a complaint with them. No, I will let you postpone your graduation." Su Nange spoke. "Teacher, just give yourself 2 days off. I will give you an answer on Monday." The graduate students all turned pale when they heard this. Everyone understands the professor's choice. After all, the professor has always been a fair and selfless person, but they were implicated for no reason, and the instigator even said give yourself 2 days off in such a light tone, which made them all feel a little uncomfortable. Zhang Chao also immediately stepped forward and pulled Su Nange. "Senior sister, if you can't speak, just say less." Su Nange. She personally sent Professor Liang home. On the way, Professor Liang said worriedly, "Nange, what are you going to do with the Hua group? Dr. Nan can crush you to death with just your identity. Who will believe you? Alas. You said he is a great professor, why would he take over your plan?" In Professor Liang's view, there was a conflict between his genius student and Dr. Nan. Dr. Nan must have been disrespectful and stole Su Nange's scientific research results. Unexpectedly, Su Nange smiled after saying this. "Teacher, Dr. Nan did not occupy my plan." Professor Liang was stunned. "Then who made this plan?" Su Nange said calmly. "It can also be said that Dr. Nan did it." Chapter 54 Come Back. You are listening at NovelsShe. Su Nange sent Professor Liang home and returned to the hospital. She spent most of the time in the hospital with Mrs. Hua in the ward. Hua Beiyan works outside. Yi stood beside him, whispered what happened in the school, and then whispered, "Miss Su behaved too coldly, and now her school's internet has been banned." After he finished speaking, he handed the phone to Hua Beiyan. "This matter has become a hot topic on Haicheng University's internet, and everyone is discussing. I don't understand why Professor Liang insists on defending such a scum of society. Stealing Dr. Nan's design plan. If such a person is not fired, why should he be retained? This kind of person is simply a troublemaker. The guy upstairs, why are you calling yourself shit?" Some people were scolding her for this incident, while others were condemning her for other things. After all, the theft has not been convicted yet, so it's understandable that Professor Liang wants to defend her. I was at the scene, and I admire Professor Liang's actions very much. But this does not affect my dislike of a certain classmate. Professor Liang made sacrifices for her. She did not feel any gratitude at all. She even said that she would just go home and rest for a few days. She was so cold-blooded and heartless, as if Professor Liang's efforts were all deserved. We were both at the scene and felt that this person was too thick-skinned. Those graduate students of Professor Liang were really unlucky. Why did they end up with such a schoolgirl? Hua Baiyan's face grew darker and darker as he watched, until finally he was as gloomy as water. He threw his phone to Yi. Suddenly I thought of a sentence written by Carlo Collodi. When the dog at the entrance of the village barks, the other dogs will follow. They bark, but they don't know why. Yi. Boss, you really have a venomous tongue. With this sentence, those stupid and innocent college students were scolded as dogs. He subconsciously said, if Miss Su sees these criticisms, she will probably be very sad, right? As soon as these words came out, Hua Baiyan paused, and he asked hesitantly, do you think she will be bored and browse the school network? Yi twitched his lips, boss, Miss Su has just graduated. When she was in school, who didn't read gossip on the school's internet? Hua Baiyan said calmly, I don't want to read it. Yi. That's because you have the style of a veteran cadre and are a network insulator. He coughed, modern young people like to go online. Hearing this, Hua Baiyan raised his eyelids and looked into the ward through the glass window on the door. The weather was getting cooler. The girl was wearing a camel-colored sweater. She was sitting casually on the sofa with her head down reading a book. The 2 strands of hair on her forehead were scattered. She stretched out her long white fingers and pulled her hair behind her ears. Her hair was thick and black. Between the hair, a slender white neck is faintly exposed. She looked attentive and serious while reading. The sun shone from the window behind her and fell at her feet. The little Shiba Inu curled up and slept soundly while squatting there. This scene exudes the quiet charm of time. I don't know how much time passed, but Su Nange seemed a little tired. She put down her book, stretched out, and reached for the mobile phone next to her. Hua Baiyan stood up suddenly, walked to the door in a few steps, and opened the door. Both people in the room looked at him. Mrs. Hua held her reading glasses with one hand, looked at him with difficulty and asked, bad boy, what's wrong? Hua Baiyan pursed his lips and looked at Su Nange. Miss Su, the weather is very good today. Can you take grandma to bask in the sun? Su Nange glanced outside and nodded. She gently kicked the little Shiba Inu to wake it up, and then helped Mrs. Hua out. Walk 2 at a time to save time. The 3 people and the dog soon arrived at the hospital park and found a chair to help Mrs. Hua sit down. Su Nange stared at the lake in the distance in a daze. My mind is digesting the knowledge points I just read about neurology. Suddenly, a deep voice came from my ears. Ms. Su, do you usually like to surf the internet? Su Nange looked at Hua Baiyan inexplicably. The man was wearing a black shirt and black trousers, and his slim-fitting couture clothing set off his coolness and elegance. With a full sense of abstinence, he didn't look at her, and his expression was indifferent, as if the question had no other meaning and was just a small talk. Su Nange also answered casually, I don't like it very much. Hua Baiyan nodded. Su Nange looked at Mrs. Hua. After spending a few days together, she got to know Hua Baiyan to some extent. This man was very talkative. After the greeting just now, he probably wouldn't say anything more. Just when I thought of this, I heard the man say slowly, nowadays, most people are impetuous. When the internet is anonymous, they like to vent their violence and dissatisfaction online. The internet is like a lawless place, amplifying the evil in people's hearts. So don't take the information on the internet seriously. Su Nange. When she was wondering why the man suddenly said this, her phone vibrated. I took it out and glanced at it, and found that it was a WeChat message sent by Senior Zhang Chao. Schoolgirl, please don't stay on the school's internet during this period. A group of students are following what they say, and what they say is too ugly. Su Nange was slightly startled. She seemed to understand why Hua Baiyan said this. She put down her phone, with a bright smile on her face. Mr. Hua, don't worry. Those words on the internet can't hurt me. Hua Baiyan paused. A hint of uneasiness seemed to flash across his face, and he quickly regained his composure. Well, I'm afraid that you will affect Grandma's mood. Su Nange laughed softly. Her smile made Hua Baiyan feel uncomfortable all over. He stood up, his expression still calm. I still have work, Grandma, I'll leave it to you. Good. Returning to the ward, Hua Beiyan said, "The meeting on Monday morning is cancelled." Yi was surprised, "But that day is our cross-border meeting." "Okay, I'll cancel it right now." He glanced at Hua Beiyan hesitantly. "Is the boss planning to go to the administrative department on Monday to blatantly defend Su Nange?" His face tightened. There are already many people who are dissatisfied with the boss taking over the Hua group. If he continues to bend the law for personal gain, Yi suddenly felt a little angry. This Su Nange has only been in the company for a few days, but he has already created such a big problem for his boss. Hua Zichen relied on Dr. Nan to gain a firm foothold in the RD department. Turning around, she offended Dr. Nan. It will really cause trouble for the boss. If her boss really wanted to protect her on Monday, then she would stop him even if she tried to make her boss angry. Don't let your boss make mistakes. Su Nange came back from a walk with the little old lady and found that Yi looked at her in a wrong way, but she didn't care either. It's Monday soon. After Su Nange finished breakfast and was about to go to Hua group, his phone vibrated. It was a WeChat message from Ji Ming. "Boss, the plane landed on time. I'll go to the Hua group right away." Chapter 55 Relationship. You are listening at NovelFold.audio. Su Nange and Hua Beiyan arrived at the Hua group in a Bentley luxury car. When getting off the car, Hua Beiyan suddenly asked, "Can Ji Ming come on time?" Su Nange said, "Probably." Hua Beiyan pursed his lips and said again, "I actually have some information about Ji Ming here. I will tell you after today's events are over." He planned to tell her about Ji Ming's love affair. After all, long-term pain is worse than short-term pain. Su Nange glanced at him in surprise. "Okay." She got out of the car and walked towards the elevator. As soon as I arrived at the elevator door, I heard several colleagues in front of me discussing in low voices. "Have you heard? There is a case of stealing other people's plans in the RD department." "Who is it? Do you have no bottom line in doing things? You are too courageous." "It is said that he is a new intern. He should have a background in the company, so he dared to do this." "What background?" Someone raised it and said, "I heard it was related to that person, so I arranged it in the Jiang Yingxiao group. That person has a domineering and forceful style. The senior executives have been worried this month. He shouldn't blatantly cover up this intern, right? Aren't you afraid of being known as a person who doesn't distinguish between public and private matters? I heard that the old lady at home was spoiled rotten. He was a little bully in Haicheng when he was a child. After so many years, trying to keep an intern is nothing to him, right? The company has company rules and regulations. If that person acts so recklessly, aren't they afraid of causing public outrage? You are young and don't care about these things. Isn't Vice President Hua Zichen younger? But look at the person they assigned to the company, Dr. Nan, who is #1 in the new energy industry. And look at that intern. Comparing the two sides, you can see that Vice President Hua Zichen more reliable. That's for sure. Tiger's father has no sons. His father, Mr. De Hua, has always been a strict self-discipline and lenient towards others. Speaking of which, our Mr. De Hua is a down-to-earth person and has slowly risen from the bottom. Why isn't that position occupied by Mr. De Hua? Su Nange originally had no intention of paying attention to these people. After all, she was now in the middle of the situation and it was impossible not to be talked about behind her back, but they never expected that the topic of this group of people would turn to Hua Beiyan. She narrowed her eyes. She has been involved in society since junior high school. She is not really a newbie in the workplace, so she immediately deduced that someone was behind this incident and planned to bring Hua Beiyan into trouble. She looked at the person who started the topic. She really knew him. This person's name is Jiang Tao, a research and development staff member of the second group and Hua Zichen's lackey. Su Nange recalled the news that Ji Ming helped her investigate. Hua's family wanted to take back the person in power. The last time I went to Hua's house, I could also feel the rivalry between Chang Fong and Hua Beiyan. Hua Zichen wanted to use this incident to create public opinion. Even if it could not cause any actual harm to Hua Beiyan, it would still weaken his reputation in the company. Su Nange sneered. She took a step forward and spoke calmly. It's okay for you to gossip about me, but before you gossip about the boss, shouldn't you first check if there are surveillance cameras around you? As soon as these words came out, the group of people were so frightened that they immediately raised their heads and looked around, seeing that there was no surveillance. I was relieved, and then I realized that I had been tricked. Everyone looked at Su Nange. Who are you? Before Su Nange could speak, Jiang Tao spoke. Let me introduce to you, this is the new intern in our RD team. Jiang Tao said with a smile, but not a smile, Miss Su is indeed related to Mr. Hua. The theft plan is such a big problem. Now that the evidence is complete, you can still show a calm expression when you come to work. As soon as these words came out, everyone looked at her and frowned. We are all office workers. If one day, someone steals the results of our hard work, we will definitely be very angry. Su Nange was not afraid of those looks at all and only frowned. Mr. Hua's relationship? Jiang Tao immediately said, you are not going to deny it, are you? It was the RD department that Special Assistant Ji personally sent you to, and the people in our second group can see it clearly. At this point, he sighed and said in a pretense of comfort, but even with Mr. Hua's support, you can't steal Dr. Nan's plan. Do you know the significance of Dr. Nan to the company's RD department? Vice President Hua Zichen was able to invite him, but it took a lot of favors and connections, and he made great contributions to the RD department. If you lose your popularity because of you, can even Mr. Hua bear the anger of everyone in the RD department? That everyone around them nodded immediately. Su Nange suddenly smiled. You are wrong, I am only related to Mr. Hua. Mr. Hua has always kept a low profile. He hired me to join the company and never publicized it. Jiang Tao was stunned. What did I say wrong? At this time, the elevator came and a group of people walked in. None of them noticed that Hua Baiyan and Yi happened to be walking in the distance and happened to overhear these conversations. Hua Baiyan's expression hadn't changed at all, but Yi Ye's expression immediately darkened. Sure enough, someone took advantage of Su Nange and plotted against the boss. But Su Nange didn't know how to avoid suspicion at this time, and he actually dared to blame the boss. It's simply too much. Yi couldn't help but said angrily, Boss, did you hear that? Everyone knows that she is related to you. What good does this do to her? It's so stupid. After finishing speaking, he persuaded, Boss, I think you really can't take care of her. Now everyone knows about her relationship with you. If you still choose to protect her at this time, in everyone's eyes, you are really bad. He has become a foolish king who doesn't care about right and wrong, and doesn't distinguish between public and private affairs. Hua Baiyan narrowed his eyes. The man's stern face did not change at all, his deep eyes looked forward, and he said calmly, only the weak will be coerced by words. With these words, he straightened his clothes and strode into the president's exclusive elevator. Yi followed him in and heard his loud words, go to the administration department. You know that the boss's decision cannot be changed. He reluctantly pressed the administrative department floor, and then sighed silently, don't blame everyone for making comparisons, the RD department is the core of the company, and how many people are watching it. In the past month, the RD department has hired a total of 2 people, one is Dr. Nan, Hua Zichen's connection, one is Su Nange, a close relative of the boss. Comparing the two, the gap is really huge. He took a deep breath. It would be great if Dr. Nan was related to the boss. Then the boss would definitely win this battle beautifully. Ding! The elevator has arrived. This lawsuit over the theft plan has officially begun. I wasn't feeling well yesterday and took a day off. Today I plan to write a few more chapters and make up for it, but my baby suddenly had a fever of 39.7 in the morning. After taking Motrin, it could only go down to 38. Within 6 hours, the fever started again. It's scary. Take him to the hospital tomorrow. Chapter 56 Evidence. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Su Nange walked out of the elevator and prepared to walk in a group of directions, but just after taking 2 steps, Jiang Tao's voice came from behind, Miss Su, I don't know what your relationship is with Mr. Hua, but you should have noticed that Mr. Hua's reputation in the company is not very good. This person in power, a person's position may not necessarily belong to someone in the future. Therefore, I advise you not to offend our Vice President Hua. He is Huazichan's confidant. Through these few contacts, he can certainly see what Huazichan thinks about Su Nange, he whispered. Follow our Vice President Hua, and your life will be better than now. At least Vice President Hua has a way to help you solve the things you are about to face. Su Nange glanced at him indifferently with her peach blossom eyes and entered the group without saying anything. Today is Monday. After a pleasant weekend, many people tend to be late for work on this day, and everyone is often stuck, but today, all the people in the group have arrived. Everyone is sitting in the rest area, surrounding Jiang Yingxiao and Zhang Chao, all showing worried looks. Jiang Yingxiao's face tightened and his expression was gloomy. After seeing Su Nange enter the door, everyone stood up suddenly and stopped talking. Zhang Chao walked over quickly. Nange, over there at the school. Before he finished speaking, Huazichan, the general manager of the RD department and the deputy general manager, had already appeared at the door. Jiang Yingxiao, Su Nange, let's go, the administration department is waiting for us. Jiang Yingxiao frowned and stood up. He looked at Su Nange and said, let's go. Several people walked towards the elevator together. On the way, Huazichan suddenly said, I thought you would call me in the next 2 days. He was sure of victory and did not shy away from the general manager and Jiang Yingxiao at all. Su Nange narrowed his eyes and said nothing. Huazichan then said, by the way, in addition to people from the administrative department, there will be 2 guests coming today. They are the president of Haicheng University and the dean of the School of Energy. The dean heard about your theft of Dr. Nan's plan. You must be expelled from school, right? As soon as these words came out, Jiang Yingxiao sneered. Huazichan, I remember you have all graduated from college. Why do you still have to go to the teacher if anything happens? You're not weaned. Huazichan sneered, I am also from Haicheng University. Of course I can't watch Haicheng University be tarnished by such a person. The president and dean came here today to make sure that if the situation is true, they will not show mercy. Su Nange, you still refuse to admit your mistake. Su Nange said slowly, I'm not wrong. What's wrong with me? You really can't cry until you see the coffin. The 4 people quickly arrived at the administrative department. Huazichan and the general manager of the RD department entered the conference room first, and when Su Nange was about to follow, Jiang Yingxiao suddenly patted her on the shoulder. I am your leader, and if you make any mistakes, they are all my responsibility. Even if Huazichan invites Dr. Nan over and confronts you face to face, I will still stand in front of you. After leaving these words, Jiang Yingxiao strode through the door as if he was rushing to the execution ground. Su Nange. There is really no need for this. She twitched her lips and followed in. Only then did she realize that the conference room was very large, with about 10 people already sitting in it. Several people in the administrative department all looked serious and looked very strict. The principal and dean were invited and sat on both sides. What surprised Su Nange was that Hua Beiyan was also sitting on the sidelines. The man was wearing a suit, with his shirt buttoned to the top and a tie of the same color, revealing his rigor and elegance. After hearing the footsteps, he looked indifferently. His deep gaze only stayed on Su Nange for a moment, and then immediately moved away, as if coming here had nothing to do with her. Yi, who was standing behind him, glared at Su Nange with a livid face. Su Nange didn't pay attention and only smiled gently at them. Of course she understood that Hua Beiyan, who was busy with everything, suddenly came here because he cared about her. No. He came to care about grandma just to make her not sad. She could imagine how this man would explain it. The corners of her lips were slightly raised, and she entered the room with calm steps. The administration has procedures to follow. The Minister of Administration was the first to speak. Vice President Hua, where are the witnesses and physical evidence you mentioned? Su Nange also looked at him curiously. She really didn't know what the evidence Huazichan kept saying. Huazichan took out his phone and took a look. They happen to be here too. With these words, the door was knocked. Jiang Tao led the 2 people through the door. These 2 people, one is Su Yin and the other is Li Wanru. Su Nange frowned slightly. Su Yin looked calm, walked up to Huazichan, and shouted with a smile, Brother Zichan. Li Wanru seemed to have never seen such a battle before, and looked timid. She looked around, then gave a flattering smile. Huazichan pointed at her and said, she is my witness and physical evidence. Let me introduce to you, she is Su Nange's mother. Everyone was stunned and subconsciously looked at Su Nange. Jiang Yingxiao pushed her, really or not? Su Nange tensed his chin and said nothing, but Li Wanru rushed in front of her. Nange, the fact that mom helped you steal the plan was exposed. I didn't expect that there was surveillance in the ward, so it was directly photographed, and now it has become their physical evidence. Following her words, Su Yin took out a USB flash drive and plugged it into the computer. It showed a picture of Mrs. Su's ward. Li Wanru sneaked in, then secretly opened Su Yin's computer, then plugged in a USB disk, and operated something. Su Yin sighed. I installed the camera just to record the time when the doctor gave my mother medicine. I didn't expect it to be recorded. Nangu, how could you let your mother steal things for you? Li Wanru immediately lowered her head and apologized. It's my fault. Nangu didn't know about this. I saw that she was working too hard, so I decided to do this. This matter has nothing to do with her. I'm sorry. My child has just graduated and wants to express herself well. As a mother, I can't bear to have her work so hard. She looked around and suddenly knelt on the ground with a bang. I beg you, don't punish Nangu. If you want to punish me, and don't call the police. Give Nangu another chance. The Minister of Administration hurriedly came over and held her arm. You get up first. Li Wanru cried, if the company doesn't forgive Nangu, I won't get up. People around looked at it and couldn't help but sigh. Oh, how pitiful the hearts of parents in the world are. Hua Zichen said arrogantly, Su Nange, the evidence is complete, what else do you have to say? Su Yin watched the show from the side. She knew that the moment Li Wanru appeared, this imperfect evidence became perfect. After all, how could there be a mother in this world who slandered her daughter? Su Nange denied it, and everyone would only look down upon her even more, thinking that she was pushing her mother to blame. It is impossible for Hua Group to tolerate such employees. This is a dead end. Everyone's eyes were on Su Nange, but she still looked calm and stood with her eyes lowered. She even took out her phone and took a look, and it seemed that WeChat was coming. They didn't see that Su Nange's WeChat message came from Ji Ming. Boss, I'll be there soon. Chapter 57 Ji Ming is here. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Su Nange put down his phone and then looked up at the crowd. She should actually be a little sad that her biological mother framed her like this, but at this time, there was only a chill in my heart, because I have long been used to it. She believed that Li Wanru could do anything even more limitless than this, as long as it was for Su Yin's good. Her gaze passed across Li Wanru's body indifferently and landed on Su Yin. Su Nange was actually very curious as to how many benefits Su Yin had given Li Wanru to make Li Wanru treat her so wholeheartedly. She said nothing because she understood that before Ji Ming came over to help her prove her identity, no matter what she said, it would be useless and these people would not believe her. But she didn't speak, but someone spoke for her. Jiang Yingxiao's tone was arrogant, like a villain. What kind of direct evidence is this? From the video alone, we can only see that Su Nange's mother copied something from Su Yin's computer. What exactly was copied? Who knows? Hua Zichen sneered. Su Yin is the person responsible for helping Dr. Nan hand over the solution to me. Su Nange's mother took the things from her, and then Su Nange handed over a plan that was exactly the same as Dr. Nan's. This is not enough. What does it mean? Jiang Yingxiao, even if you want to protect Su Nange, you must have some restraint. Jiang Yingxiao stiffened her neck. What kind of cover-up? I was just expressing my doubts. This evidence cannot directly indicate that it was Su Nange who instigated her mother to steal things. As soon as these words came out, Li Wanru, who was kneeling there, immediately shouted, yes, Nangu didn't ask me to steal this, I wanted to steal it myself. It has nothing to do with Nangu, it's all my own fault as a mother. Claim. She grabbed the arm of the Minister of Administration. Please, don't involve Nangu. My daughter finally graduated from college. She can't lose her job because of this. The Minister of Administration sighed after hearing this. What did you steal? Li Wanru immediately said, it's new energy solution for hydrogen oil. The Minister of Administration nodded. Do you know what hydrogen oil is? Li Wanru was stunned and shook her head. The Minister of Administration continued, yeah, look, I'm not in research and development, and I don't even know what this is. If your daughter didn't tell you what you wanted to steal, then how did you help your daughter steal it? Li Wanru seemed to be choked, she was speechless, but in the end she lowered her head suddenly. I don't care, this is what I did, it has nothing to do with my daughter. You call the police and take me away, it's my fault. The Minister of Administration sighed deeply and looked at Li Wanru with eyes full of emotion and pity. Wazichan looked at Li Wanru, he should have hated this mistress very much, but he couldn't bear the fact that she was so willing to risk everything for his daughter. Wazichan roared angrily, Su Nange, speak up. Are you really planning to blame your mother for this matter? Do you understand the most basic filial piety in life? Do you have any intention at all? The Minister of Administration also said coldly, Vice President Hua, don't worry, our administrative department will definitely investigate this matter clearly. Our Hua group will not wrongly accuse any mother, nor will we leave behind an unfilial and disloyal person. Staff, Su Nange knew this would happen, the consequences of exporting denials are only doubts from this group of people, she smiled lowly, knowing that things were definitely not over yet. Sure enough, Su Yin sighed, and she took a step forward hypocritically and came to Li Wanru. Li, even if you want to take over this matter by yourself, it is impossible. We are not fools. What is going on? Everyone I know it well. The best way now is to admit the mistake, correct it, and seek forgiveness from the Hua group. Otherwise, Nan Gu will be expelled from school. Is that so? Li Wanru looked at the Minister of Administration for help. The Minister of Administration nodded, yes, we have our own judgment. We can all see that you are shielding your daughter. Li Wanru squatted on the ground dejectedly, as if she had lost her support, but suddenly, she figured something out, rushed to Su Nange with a few steps on her knees, and grabbed her leg. Nange, there is nothing we can do, admit your mistake. If you admit your mistake earlier, the Hua group will give you a chance. Forget it. If I really expel you, you still have your academic qualifications and can still find another job, but if you don't admit it and are expelled from the school, your future will be really ruined. She seemed to be in great pain, and she squeezed out a few tears from her eyes, but where no one could see, her eyes became fierce. Su Nange still felt ridiculous when he looked at his mother kneeling in front of him. In the past, Li Wanru had always been straightforward with her. Every time she made a request to her, she forcefully forced her to give in to Su Yin. Now you also learn how to make green tea. Was it taught by Su Yin? Li Wanru was still crying. I helped Nan Gu admit her mistake. I am her mother. I kowtow to everyone on her behalf to admit her mistake. I hope everyone can give her another chance, and I hope the school will expel her from school. She really kowtowed several times. The thick voice made everyone feel sad. What a good mother. The Minister of Administration rushed over and tried to help her up, but he couldn't pull her up at all. She hurriedly shouted to Su Nange, why are you still standing there? Your mother is so sincere and honest, why did she give birth to such an unfilial daughter like you? In the stands nearby, the Vice President of Haicheng University also showed a look of pity. The Dean even spoke directly, Su Nange, haven't you admitted your mistake yet? Are you planning to force your mother to death? How come there are students like you in our school? Principal, have you seen it? That's it. Professor Liang had to vouch for her alone, and Professor Liang was confused by her for some reason. She was so confused that I suspended Professor Liang at home. That the vice principal frowned, feeling that these words were unpleasant. Say less. The reason why he came here with the dean today was because Professor Liang called him and told him that the dean wanted to expel the student. A student's academic status is her business card. Expelling one's academic status is such a serious matter for a person. The dean even suspended a professor from his job. The deputy dean felt that it had indeed passed. This is why I came here at Professor Liang's request. But now it seems that the dean did the right thing. He couldn't help but look at Su Nange. Classmate, you'd better admit your mistake quickly. If the trouble continues, Professor Liang won't be able to protect you. Li Wanru immediately stopped kowtowing and looked at her. Nan Gu, did you hear that? Everyone told you to admit your mistake quickly and will give you another chance. At this time, there was a sudden knock on the door, and someone shouted outside, Mr. Ji Ming is here. Chapter 58 Slander. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. There was silence in the conference room. Soo-in was shocked. She subconsciously looked at Hwazichin and lowered her voice. Brother Zichin, we can see from the last gathering that Ji Ming and Su Nange have an unusual relationship. He came here to say a few good words for Su Nange and let the Hwa group handle it with care. Hwazichin immediately tensed his chin and said to the outsider, take Mr. Ji Ming to the conference room of the RD department. I will go see him when the matters here are finished. When the person outside the door heard this, he replied, okay. Just as he was about to leave, a deep voice suddenly sounded, let him in. Everyone turned their heads and saw Hua Beiyan, who was sitting in the hearing seat, speaking. Hwazichin said hurriedly, Uncle, Ji Ming is Dr. Nan's assistant. I don't plan to make this matter known to everyone, lest Dr. Nan think that our company is disrespectful to him. So it's better not to let Ji Ming in. Su Nange raised his eyebrows. She really ignored this. Unexpectedly, Ji Ming couldn't enter this conference room, but she wasn't worried. As long as she revealed her identity, the group would have to call Ji Ming to come in and confront her. After all, only Ji Ming has met Dr. Nan in person. While she was thinking, Hua Beiyan spoke again, I invited Ji Ming. Su Nange. She turned her head in surprise, but saw that the man's expression was as usual. When he said this, his expression was light and his black eyes were as deep as valleys, making it difficult to see his inner thoughts. If she hadn't known the truth, she would have thought that Ji Ming was really invited by him. After Hua Beiyan said this, he glanced at Yi Yi. Yi Yi understood what he meant instantly and walked out immediately. At the same time, he couldn't help but glare at Su Nange again. Beauty is a disaster. The boss actually started to cover for this woman. I just hope that Ji Ming can work harder to intimidate this group of people and prevent the boss from getting really dizzy and getting a bad reputation for being a cover-up. Soon, Ji Ming followed Yi Yi and walked in. He was dusty and had a suitcase in his hand. He had obviously rushed over as soon as he got off the plane. As soon as he walked in, his eyes fell on Su Nange first, and then he coughed. Well, there was a traffic jam on the road, so I was late. Su Nange nodded slightly, seeing that they were still chatting here. Yi Yi felt anxious and couldn't help but said directly, Mr. Ji, are you here to tell everyone that Dr. Nan's plan was given to Miss Su Nange by you? As long as Ji Ming admits it, the matter will be over. After all, the evidence from Li Wanru was not direct evidence. When the time comes, the boss becomes stronger and the person is saved. And there are valid reasons. When Yi Yi was thinking this, he heard Ji Ming say in surprise, no. How could I hand over Dr. Nan's design plan to others? Yi Yi. He was suddenly filled with questions, looked at Ji Ming in surprise, and cursed in his heart, this scumbag. Did you come here specially to clear things up with Su Nange? He was so angry that his whole body was shaking. As expected, this philandering man is unreliable. The rest of the people in the room breathed a collective sigh of relief. Su-in clenched her fists nervously the moment Ji Ming came in, but she suddenly relaxed at this moment. Hwazichin even said, Mr. Ji, did you come here today because you heard that Dr. Nan's plan was stolen, so you came here specifically to hear the trial? Don't worry, our whole group will definitely give Dr. Nan an explanation. That when Ji Ming heard this, the expression on his face suddenly became a little playful. He smiled and said, yes, you must clear my boss's name. After saying this, he swaggered to the hearing room, sat down next to the vice president of Haicheng University, and winked at Su Nange while others were not paying attention. Su Nange. The vice principal exchanged greetings with Ji Ming. Mr. Ji, I have long admired your name. Our school has always wanted to hire Dr. Nan as a tutor. I wonder if Mr. Ji can convey our school's sincerity. Ji Ming sighed, well, it depends on how we handle today's matter. The vice principal paused. The dean immediately said from the side, don't worry, we will not cover up the student who stole Dr. Nan's plan, and we will definitely expel her from school. The vice principal tightened his jaw, feeling increasingly unhappy, not to mention that the whole group has not yet convicted Su Nange. Even if Su Nange is convicted of the theft plan, whether the student will be expelled from school will still require a meeting at the school to discuss it. How can it be possible to directly make a promise to others? It seems like you are trying to please others. No character at all. Ji Ming's eyes turned cold, and the sarcasm in his words was obvious. Expelled from school. As a school, shouldn't you try your best to protect the students? Why should you put aside the relationship first if something goes wrong? That the dean felt that these words were strange, as if he was being accused. It was Su Nange who made a big mistake. Oh, what mistake did she make? She stole Dr. Nan's plan. Ji Ming asked, is there any evidence? That the dean pointed at Li Wanru. This is her mother, she admitted it herself, and there is a surveillance video that captured her mother stealing the plan from Miss Su Yin's computer. Really? That's what Miss Su Yin said. Su Yin had been weakening her sense of presence in this matter, but now that Ji Ming was calling her name, she could only take a step forward. That's it. Su Yin looked at Li Wanru again. Aunt Li, this is Dr. Nan's assistant. If Dr. Nan doesn't pursue this matter, I don't think the Hua group will pursue it either. Li Wanru understood something immediately and rushed directly to Ji Ming, knelt down and kowtowed. Mr. Ji, please forgive Su Nange, she didn't mean it. Hua Zichen hurriedly stopped in front of her. Don't do this. But Li Wanru cried, as long as I can help Nan Gu, let alone kowtow, I can do anything you want. Nan Gu, please admit your mistake. I beg you. Anything can be done. Su Nange finally spoke. Her voice was clear and gentle, and she said slowly, as long as you don't slander me, I will thank God. Li Wanru choked, then cried even harder, Nange, Mom is not slandering you, but I can't hide it anymore. Hua Zichen also said angrily, Su Nange, why are you so stubborn? The dean of Haicheng University also added insult to injury, classmate Su Nange, how can you talk? How can there be a mother in this world who slanders her daughter? You are really talking nonsense. After he finished speaking, he looked at Ji Ming, as if to prove that what he just said was right. Mr. Ji, did you see it? This girl is always telling lies, and this is not the first time, in school. She often skips classes, leaves early, and I heard she often stays up late at night, so it's natural for us to expel her from school. Is it? Ji Ming immediately said with a faint smile, but as far as I know, Dr. Nan did not give Miss Su Yin any plan at all. How did this kind and simple mother steal it? Chapter 59 A Slap in the Face. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. As soon as he finished speaking, the whole room fell into silence. Everyone looked at Ji Ming and then at Su Yin, and they were all at a loss. Hua Zichen looked at Su Yin in confusion. What's going on? Su Yin bit her lip and said directly to Ji Ming, the solutions that Dr. Nan gave our Su company were sent separately and have nothing to do with your company. You are just his assistant and don't know about this. Hua Zichen breathed a sigh of relief. Su Yin continued, Mr. Ji, do you want to end this matter? If you want to express this, there is no need to be so tactful. She looked at Hua Zichen. Brother Zichen, the Hua group has no losses after all. I won't pursue this matter anymore, okay? Hua Zichen was indeed irritated, and said angrily, Mr. Ji, this is a private matter within our Hua group, and it is not the turn of an outsider to point fingers. He is willing to give Ji Ming face because Ji Ming is Dr. Nan's assistant. But he was not really afraid of Ji Ming. The Hua group status is the #1 wealthy family in Haicheng, and there are really not many people who can be taken seriously by him, Ji Ming said, I know this very well. Dr. Nan did not send an email to Su Yin. Hua Zichen sneered, if Dr. Nan didn't send it, how could Su Yin come up with the solution? Ji Ming spread his hands, yes, how did you get here? Hua Zichen was stunned. What do you mean? It's obvious. Ji Ming pointed at Li Wanru, this woman gave it to her. Wasn't it all photographed that she took the USB disk to copy things to Su Yin's computer? Crowd. Can you still understand it this way? Everyone was confused for a moment. Hua Zichen almost laughed angrily. Mr. Ji, you mean that Su Nange's mother stole Su Nange's plan and gave it to Su Yin? Don't you think what you said is funny? What's so funny? Ji Ming suddenly changed his target. Mr. Hua, do you think what I said is right? As soon as these words came out, everyone subconsciously looked at Hua Beiyan. Although this person was sitting there calmly and not saying much, he still had a strong sense of presence. The man paused for a moment, then opened his thin lips, and his deep and pleasant voice echoed in the conference room. It is indeed understandable. As soon as these words came out, the expressions of several people in the room changed. Huazichin did not dare to get angry at Hua Beiyan and said angrily to Ji Ming, "You mean, that plan is Su Nange's, not Dr. Nan's?" Ji Ming smiled and said in an awkward tone, "It belongs to Dr. Nan too." Huazichin. Su Yin said, "Mr. Ji, you mean that Nan Ji's plan happens to be the same as Dr. Nan's?" Huazichin was really angry now. "So this is your purpose. You not only want to clear away the suspicion, but also want to take the credit. What a good calculation." He looked at Hua Beiyan again. "Uncle, do you think so too?" Hua Beiyan pursed his lips, his eyes were deep and he felt something was wrong, Ji Ming's confident look, and the woman's back that has been straight since she walked in. The relationship between the two is not what he thought. The thought that he had suppressed suddenly came to his mind again. He suddenly looked at Su Nange, his pupils narrowed. Could it be that, seeing that he was silent and seemed to have acquiesced, Huazichin immediately said righteously, "I don't agree. Uncle, I know that Su Nange came in because of your relationship. Su Nange and Ji Ming also have a close relationship, but Dr. Nan is mine. Relationship, I want to give Dr. Nan justice. I absolutely disagree with this matter. What you do is simply tarnishing the personality of scientific researchers." His words resonated with the others. Everyone looked at Hua Beiyan with condemning eyes. "Unacceptable. The murderer who steals other people's achievements is fine without being punished, but he still wants to take the credit from her. If word of this gets out, it will be enough to arouse public outrage in the company." Yi was also going to be furious. What are Ji Ming and Su Nange doing? It's good to be free of guilt, why do you want more? How greedy. This time, the boss was really roasted on the fire. But the boss didn't speak, and as an assistant, he didn't dare to say much, so he could only sulk in his heart. At this time, his cell phone rang, and when he opened it, he found that someone from the secretarial office had sent him a link. That was the company's intranet, and there was an anonymous poster who had been broadcasting the content of the conference room live using text. Now under that post, a group of people are already commenting, "Just because that intern is beautiful, does Mr. Hua protect her like this? It's really chilling. I stand with Vice President Huazichin, he speaks for scientific researchers. I originally thought that the company's atmosphere had improved after Mr. Hua took office, but I'm going to be disappointed this time. The intern's mother will help outsiders bully her daughter. It is really tragic for this mother to be so unjustly accused. I am a fan of Dr. Nan. Someone actually stole the results of my idol. I am the first to refuse to accept it. To be honest, I am really grateful to Vice President Huazichin for inviting Dr. Nan to provide technical support. Being able to work with Dr. Nan is the greatest honor in my life. Look at Mr. Hua again. Who are the people recruited into the company? Beautiful intern, I am so confused. If Dr. Nan feels wronged and resigns because of this intern, I will be really angry. The company's public opinion has gained momentum, and it is a huge blow to the boss. Yi was so frightened that he hurriedly handed the phone to Hua Beiyan, hoping that he would change his mind about protecting Su Nange. Unexpectedly, Hua Beiyan didn't look at his phone at all. His eyes were fixed on Su Nange, with complex undercurrents surging in his eyes. Yi. Boss, at this critical moment, can you stop being fooled by her beauty? When Yi was anxious, the head of the administrative department stood up and said, "Mr. Hua, I cannot agree with this matter. It goes against my original intention as a person." The rest of the administrative department also stood up. Me too. Dr. Nan is a commendable person and should not be treated like this. The dean of Haicheng University also frowned deeply. He did not dare to reprimand Hua Beiyan, so he could only yell at Su Nange, "Classmate Su Nange, you really let the teacher down. Dr. Nan is a person respected by all of us. How could you do this?" The vice principal also shook his head. Li Wanru also took the opportunity to cry, "Nange, we can't make the same mistake again and again." Su Yin lowered her head, with a triumphant smile on her lips. Su Nange has become a street rat, and everyone is shouting to beat him. Huazichin's confidence greatly increased and he looked directly at Ji Ming. as Dr. Nan's assistant, if you don't protect Dr. Nan's interests when something happens, you still plot against her here, are you worthy of Dr. Nan? Being questioned like this, Ji Ming smiled instead of getting angry. Can't we just ask her? After saying this, under the surprised eyes of everyone, he strode up to Su Nange and asked respectfully, Dr. Nan, what do you think of me as an assistant? Chapter 60 The Truth Comes Out. You are listening at NovelFold.audio. There was silence in the conference room, and there was no sound. Everyone around was stunned and looked at Ji Ming in disbelief. Their eyes slid back and forth on the faces of Su Nange and Ji Ming, and they felt as if their brains were frozen. Why did Ji Ming call him Dr. Su Nangenan? Could it be that, Su Nange is Dr. Nan? Huazichan exclaimed, Ji Ming, what are you doing? Dr. Nan's identity cannot be confused. Ji Ming Xiao, I knew you would question me a long time ago. He took out the patent certificate from the bag he carried with him, held it up and turned around. It was the identification certificate belonging to Dr. Nan, and the name written on it was clearly Su Nange. It is impossible to fake the special seal of a formal institution. Huazichan's pupils shrank, and he was stunned as if he had been struck by lightning. He looked at Su Nange blankly, and at this moment he suddenly felt like a joke. The reason why he chose Su Yin over her was not only because of her identity as an illegitimate daughter, but also because Su Yin could bring him Dr. Nan's connections, allowing him to easily open up the situation in the Hua Group's RD department. But the current situation makes him look like a clown. He looked at Su Yin suddenly, his complex expression turned violent. What's going on? Su Yin's whole body was shaking uncontrollably. It was originally hinted that Li Wanru's plan to steal Su Nange was given by Dr. Nan, which contained some elements of risk, but things developed according to her plan. Everyone believed that Su Nange stole it. In order not to make Dr. Nan angry, they would definitely not bring it to Dr. Nan's face. Even if Ji Ming showed up to testify for Su Nange, not many people would believe it. But she never expected that Su Nange was Dr. Nan. She bit her lip, wanting to say something to calm Huazichan's anger, but for a moment she didn't know what to say. When Li Wanru next to her saw this, she suddenly got up from the ground, stretched out her hand and hit Su Nange. Evil girl. How can you be Dr. Nan? You haven't studied well since you were a child, and you almost didn't get into college. Bian Kai went in. This is impossible. It must be Ji Ming who is helping you lie. Tell everyone quickly that you are lying, and you stole the plan from your sister. In this look, where is the deep love between mother and daughter just now? Su Nange took a step back, dodged her attack, and said coldly, have you forgotten why I can't study well? Li Wanru paused. When I first went to school, I took the first exam and I ranked first in the class. Who made me kneel for a whole day at night and didn't allow me to steal Su Yin's limelight? Who told me to hand in blank papers every time I took the exam and not study hard? Who told me that if I dare to study well, I will be sold to human traffickers? Su Nange lowered her eyes and said in a very calm tone, I have to work harder than others. After all, it is very difficult to control the score in the college entrance examination. She rarely mentioned the past, but today Li Wanru created the image of a perfect mother here. Without saying these words, she could not explain her behavior of slandering herself. Everyone was stunned and looked at Li Wanru. I can't believe there is such a mother in this world. The Minister of Administration stood stunned. I originally thought that the mother I felt sorry for was a pitiful person, but what turned out to be this? Hua Beiyan, who was sitting in the audience, stood up. He pursed his lips tightly and looked at Su Nange with a deep look. The girl's words were all light and airy, sounding like she was telling someone else's story. But he understood that every word she spoke was tearing open the wounds of the past and showing everyone a bloody fact. He thought about the things he asked Yi to help investigate. She left the Su family in junior high school, worked part-time, and entered Haicheng University on the side. The tuition at Haicheng University is not low, but she has never applied for poverty subsidy and has worked countless jobs outside. When he saw Yi's investigation, he didn't feel too distressed, but at this moment, she shed all her pride and pretended to be relaxed and said the unbearable things with her own words. But he felt that his heart was stagnant and he was extremely depressed. Li Wanru didn't feel any regret when she heard this, and jumped up and said, control points. Okay, you actually played this trick on me. Su Nange, you are so thoughtful at such a young age, you dare to lie to me. You are really not a good person. I shouldn't have sent you to school, you trash, bastard, you're so powerful and you didn't say anything, you hid secretly, and you even set up this trap to deliberately frame Een. Enough, Hua Beiyan couldn't stand listening anymore. After giving a low drink, he looked directly at Su Een. Miss Su Een, what else do you have to say? Li Wanru was Su Nange's mother, and she was clearly a pawn being used in this matter. Hua Beiyan didn't want to talk to her and looked directly at the culprit. Su Een immediately clenched her fists and looked at Hua Zichen subconsciously. Hua Zichen stared at her with a dark face. You'd better give me an explanation. Su Yin's eyes were red, and she cried and shouted, I don't know. Brother Zichen, believe me, Dr. Nan really sent me an email. Li, what is going on? Li Wanru sneered directly, I did all this and it has nothing to do with Su Een. She looked at Su Nange. You called the police a few days ago and asked the police to arrest me and put me in jail for 2 days. After I came out of the detention center, I have been thinking about revenge on you. Occasionally I heard Su Een mention that your RD department is competing, so I came up with this idea. Ha ha ha, when you went to Mrs. Su's ward that day, I stole your computer and the plan. In the video you just saw, I did not go to Su Yin's computer to steal anything. I'm going to give her something. Just to use Dr. Nan to suppress you, an unfilial daughter. The cowardly and pitiful look she had just now completely disappeared, and now she just looked like a street shrew. She put her hands on her hips, stared at Su Nange and said, I am your mother, what can you do to me? And I am not Hua's family. Employees of the group, you can't even punish me. Su Nange thought she was ignorant and ridiculous. Just as he was about to speak, Hua Beiyan's voice came again, Jiang Yingxiao, take Dr. Nan back first. I will handle the matters here. Su Nange was slightly stunned. She understood that Hua Beiyan was worried that if she was here, it would be difficult for the Hua group to hold Li Wanru accountable, so he sent her out specifically. She was silent for a moment and accepted the kindness. She, Jiang Yingxiao, and Ji Ming came out of the conference room first, and then took the elevator to the RD department. Jiang Yingxiao looked dumbfounded, looking at Su Nange as if he was stupid. I didn't come back to my senses until I entered the office. As soon as they returned to the office, a group of people from the RD department rushed over. How was it? What happened in the end? Team leader, what's your expression? Could it be that the consequences of Su Dashan's punishment will be serious? That everyone was worried, and Zhang Chao was even more anxious. School sister, what should we do now? I heard that Dr. Nan's assistant is also here. If it doesn't work, our whole team will go find him and ask Dr. Nan to be accommodating. Yes, as long as Dr. Nan helps you say a word, this matter will be over. Su Nange. When everyone said something, Jiang Yingxiao finally came back to his senses. He pointed at Su Nange and stammered, are you really? Dr. Nan.